need a man sounding. Go and get them goddamn diamonds. Yeah, that fool. Kidnap that fool. Get him, hit him, hit him, hit him. Yeah, boom, yeah, boom, yeah, boom, yeah,
What's going on, guys? It's Corey and Christian from Super Kami Guru 9000, and prepare to have your minds blown. It's our review of Naruto Chapter 565.
And it starts off with Bee pretty much saying, hey, I'm going to go show off and take these guys out. And he goes in and spins around and does all his cool sword tricks. And honestly, they should work. But, of course, the Rinnegan has shared vision, so they can't do anything to hit these guys. And Naruto is soon to, drag him out of there and start explaining what the Rinnegan does. Oh, it's also really cool because he uses the Samihara when he's attacking, and badass. I'm glad Bee is actually incorporating that in some of his attacks because he's just pretty much been dragging the sword around and not really doing anything with it. So, awesome start to the chapter.
So before Killer Bee can even get back to himself, Naruto is being attacked by Roshi, who's the Four Tails, and he's using a brand new technique we've never seen. He creates this armor out of lava that goes around his entire body, so you pretty much can't touch him. And he's just flying all over the place, and he tries to attack Naruto, and he almost gets him. Luckily, Killer Bee is able to use one of his Eight Tails tentacles, and he's able to save him. And then all of a sudden, Yugito just appears out of nowhere, and before we saw she had some interesting powers, she had those kind of somewhat lame-looking claws that would come out, kind of like Meg from Family Guy. But we actually see that she has some other really cool techniques. She uses one here, which is a rat hairball technique, which I can only describe it as the shape of a bunny-looking rat covered in fire, shooting fireballs all over the place. Methinks someone was on LSD.
Naruto and Bee at this point are just running away. Bee is saying, hey man, let's just go run away for a second, regroup, and as in Naruto, all the time we see plan. And they're hiding in the bushes like some bitches, and they're like, hey man, they got Sharingans, and they got Rinnegan's, and Naruto's like, hey, by the way, the Rinnegan has shared vision, and they also have chakra rods, so if you take out the chakra rod, the person won't be under the remote control of the Rinnegan user, so we gotta do that. And that leads Naruto to his next attack.
After Naruto's explanation of the chakra rods, Bee immediately knows what he's talking about, because when he was going up against Yugito, he could see that she actually had one of those black chakra rods coming out of her chest.
Awesome boobage!
So now with all this new knowledge, Naruto goes to attack Roshi, and we see Roshi and him face off, and Roshi is covered in lava, and it's pretty badass technique, as Corey was saying earlier, and Naruto ends up just grabbing his fist and then having one of his Fox's chakra arms come out with a Rasengan and just blast Roshi's chakra rod. And it almost destroys it, but then he gets fucking nailed in the face by one of the other tailed beasts, and it just sends Naruto flying. And again, tentacles save Naruto, and Bee catches him, and they start to regroup. And it's at this point we go to the last awesome part of this chapter.
The chapter comes to a really epic close where Killer Bee decides to stop just fucking around. He decides it's game time. And it's really cool because it's drawn in a really cool way. It comes from the smallest point and it goes outwards. You can actually see Toby's jumping up onto a tree onto the battlefield, and then it pans out just a little bit more, and you can see that Killer Bee's skin is starting to peel away, and then boom! All of a sudden, just immediate Eight Tails form, and it's drawn in this really, really badass way, and that's where the chapter comes to an epic close.
So, what do me and Corey think about this chapter? Well, my personal thoughts are that the chapter was really good. Had a lot of good action, but depth and things getting revealed, kind of nothing. We got some reiteration about the Rinnegan. We got some reassurance that they're definitely using the Sharingan too. We found out they have chakra rods, only one, but, it's more so how to beat them. It's more fight-oriented information. And it was a good chapter, though.
When this chapter began, I was thinking to myself and asking myself this question. Is this the battle I've always wanted to see between all of the Jinchūriki? And the answer so far is yes and no. I really like what they're doing with the fact that they all have their one tail and they all have a lot of their signature techniques and everything, and they're all getting to kind of show off. Like Christian was saying, the reassurance for the Rinnegan, that was a really big deal. But the whole deal with the chakra rods, that kind of adds some more questions for me at least. It makes me think possibly that, obviously if Toby's controlling all of these people with the Rinnegan and everything, before Nagato had to actually have the chakra rods embedded into him as well. I wonder if somehow Toby actually has those, and that may be possibly what could be weakening him in some sense, because he has to use the giant, fucking statue to do this technique.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how that's going to work. Maybe that's going to be a possible weakness to how they can defeat Toby. We'll just have to see from there. But also, obviously, Eight Tails at the end.
Awesome. Yeah,
awesome.
Straight up.
You know, Killer Bee's always really cool. You know, he didn't even really dominate this chapter. You know, it's not like he was whipping ass, but he was looking cool while he was doing it the entire time. And I liked his funny little rap in the middle where he almost got to say nipple.
I mean, he had a lot of rapping in this chapter, actually. There was a lot of Killer Bee rapping, but it wasn't too much, and it just helps, reassure who that character is. And he's pretty funny, and I always enjoy watching him fight. And it's cool to see the Samihata get used, which is awesome.
I love where he just threw it at Fu, and it just, flew towards it. Yeah, that was really cool, because, Kisame never used it like that. So.
No. He just uses it as Steel Chakra.
I can't wait, though, until eventually he can fuse with the sword, and he becomes a Sharktopus this Saturday on Sci-Fi.
Okay, for a rating for this week's chapter, I think me and Corey have decided that we're just going to go with a 8 out of 10. Why? Because all we got is just action, raw action, and yes, as that is awesome, it doesn't get it an automatic 10 or anything. So, 8 out of 10 it is, you guys.
Alright guys, it's time for the question of the week where we ask you about this week's chapter. We want to talk to you guys about the Jinchūriki this week, and we have a curious one for you. We've seen so far in the last couple chapters that these Jinchūriki, even though that they've already had the demons taken away from them, they're able to have some residual power, and you can see that they actually have some of their tails.
They're one.
Yes. And now with the prospect of Bee becoming the giant 8 tails at the end of this chapter, do you guys think it'll actually be possible if all these Jinchūriki can suddenly turn into their giant demon forms, and then we'll have this big, awesome Godzilla battle? At least that's what I'm thinking might happen. But you can let us know with your comments below.
It's that time of week again, when the show's over and you have to go find some other place to be entertained. But if you enjoy what you saw, maybe, subscribe. And if you enjoy the video, always give us a thumbs up, dude. Yeah. And that's it. I hope everyone had a good time. And until next week, peace.